Hey there, this is Lynn. I have just completed 65 weeks on the carnivore diet. And this was an interesting week. I'm pretty much going to be talking about some struggles that I'm having. And I realize I've lost a little over 100 pounds. And for so much of the period of time, it's been pretty easy. I mean, once I got over that initial hump of getting off of my carb addiction, getting past my sugar addiction, this eating itself has been pretty easy and the weight has been coming off. And but so many of us who have a lifetime of dealing with food addiction, it's very easy to fall back into old habits. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that have been going on with me this past week that makes me wonder if I might just be substituting new bad habits for old ones. And I definitely don't want to do that. And so there's always something new to overcome, isn't there? It's like this is just the nature of being a human being. It really is. I mean, we struggle, right? And so maybe one thing gets easier, but then another thing gets harder. But I was actually dreading stepping on the scale this morning because I felt like I'd gained weight. Like I felt like I'd gained like 5 pounds. And I don't know why. I've learned that I can't trust my perception of how I feel about my weight. Now my clothes aren't fitting me any tighter. So I don't know. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes I feel as though I've gained a lot of weight and then I haven't, and I've yet to figure out why. But it just goes to tell I can't really trust how I feel. Sorry, I had a little ding on my computer here. But it's good news. I did lose a little bit of weight, but I've been craving cheese. And I know cheese was an issue, and I talked about it last week, and coffee and heavy cream, and those Ninja Creamy or ice creams, carnivore ice creams that we were having. I went crazy last week. And so my goal was to just kind of do a reset this week. And I did a little bit better, but I can't say that I did great. I didn't do as well as I wanted to. I have just been craving cheese. And I'm not sure why. And I have not been going crazy with cheese, but I did have some cheese. I made myself a cheese omelet. I'm just so excited I can have eggs now. Like I actually can have the whole eggs. Whenever I eat eggs, I usually eat about 5 of them. Sorry, I guess it's my phone that's going off. Turn my ringer off. But I'll eat like 5 eggs at a time. And I love eggs, and I'm just so excited that I can have them again. And the egg whites aren't bothering me anymore. They're not causing histamine reactions, which is great. And I found I can have bacon as well. So this opens up more possibilities. And I don't know if it triggered something in my brain that made me want more. Like I got more. I got bacon and eggs that I can actually have maybe a couple times a week. Something inside of me is saying, I want more. And now I want cheese, and I want the creams, and I want all these other things. And I really think that my body is saying, well, you can have them, but your weight loss is going to stall, or it's going to be really slow. So I have to figure out the best way for me to approach this. And, when I went on the carnivore diet, I went cold turkey, and that worked for me. So I have to make a decision. I've lost 102 pounds, and I have to decide what do I want more? Do I want to continue with the pace that I've been at with losing weight, or do I want the cheese? Do I want the dairy? I think, to be honest, I feel like this is actually a really, really good and encouraging problem to have. Because when I started the carnivore diet, my why was extremely strong because of my mast cell activation syndrome. And I was in horrible, horrible health, terrible condition, totally disabled. And I had a very, very strong why. And I was having trips to the emergency and having to call 911 because of anaphylactic reactions. My skin was terrible to the point where I just hated to even be outside. I was in constant pain, couldn't hardly walk. Now I have life. I have I can do things. I've lost a significant amount of weight, triple digits. So my why is not the same. I honestly didn't think that I was going to get to the point where I'd have to come up with another why or reaffirm my why. I'm not going to go backwards. There's no way I'm going to let myself go backwards, but I have to figure out now, okay, what do I want going forward? Do I have to have the dairy, or is it an indicator that I'm having cravings and the cravings are the problem? And so some reflection is going to need to take place, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm going to have to figure out too, am I craving things because I'm needing an energy source? Decades of overeating was really me craving an energy source, because with my mast cell disease, I had severe crippling fatigue. And I was always looking for something to give myself energy. And I said last week, I got to cut it out with the coffee. Did I? No. This has been a week of me letting myself down when it comes to not keeping my promises to myself. And I have a long history of doing that in the past. I don't like the fact that I'm doing it again. I just think that the ramifications are probably not severe enough for me to really clamp down and make sure that I'm avoiding things. Maybe I'm not completely 100% convinced that I have to avoid coffee. I don't know. Let me know what you think. There's a big psychological thing going on with me right now. And I know I'm going to get through it, but maybe I don't need to figure it out. I do tend to overanalyze. One thing I do know is that my sleep issues are catching up with me. Whenever I do the Wim Hof breathing, I get to sleep. Whenever I purposefully go to bed earlier and do the Wim Hof breathing, I get to sleep. I'm still staying up too late many nights of the week. And so very often I'm finding I'm waking up with headaches. Possibly it could be right now this week because of the weather. It's been rainy and overcast. I tend to get headaches when that happens. So I don't know. This week it's a lot of question marks for myself, and just like, why am I doing what I'm doing? Am I happy with what I'm doing? Am I okay with it? I don't know yet. I guess we'll find out. I've been doing my live stream with, now Lindy was back, the previous week. She was out with a family emergency. She was back on Friday. And so she was having a rough time too when it comes to exercise, when it comes to food. But for her, she can't eat when she's stressed. And for me, I tend to eat things that I probably shouldn't eat. So this is the battle we all go through. This is just, it's part of life. And I mean, it's something that unfortunately we have to just keep ourselves in check and make sure that we're not veering off track too far and bring ourselves back in. That's where accountability is definitely important. I know yesterday at our book club that I have with Carnivore nurse Kim and Carrie from My Metamorphosis, Kim was crying. And it was so real because it's the struggle that so many of us have. She said she calls herself a reluctant carnivore and kind of an unwilling carnivore. She doesn't want to be carnivore. She gets very emotional thinking about the other foods that she can't eat. But the bottom line is she can't. She's tried. She's tested it, and she's tried, and she has a reaction. She doesn't feel well. And so it can be really challenging when you want to eat other foods and your body says, nope, you can't. It's like, that's not fair. How is it that all these other people can eat whatever they want? But the reality is that eventually when you're feeding yourself garbage food, or if you're feeding yourself healthy food, but it's full of anti-nutrients, eventually it's going to catch up with you. And so I have to keep that in mind and realize that what I've been doing for my body has been very healthy. And so I don't feel deprived. I don't feel deprived. I'm not craving carbs. I'm not craving anything that's not carnivore. And it's just kind of weird for me to be craving other carnivore foods and for it to be okay for me to eat them and they don't cause reactions with me. So I'm going to have to wrap my mind around this. We'll see how things go. But sleep, I've got to decide that I need to get to bed earlier, and just for my overall health. So anyways, I think that's pretty much it before I go over my results. Oh, a couple more things. So I've showed you the book again. So I have this book that was created by myself and Amy D. Hosp, and this is a book that is, I'll put the link in below. Some of the proceeds from this book are going towards the Healing Humanity documentary. So I would encourage you, if you have children, young children, or grandchildren, get them this book. This is Turning Beef, Bacon, Butter, and Eggs into Superheroes, and they are superhuman power foods for humanity. It's a comic book, it's a coloring book, an activity book. It has all sorts of things for kids to do. And we also have our second book, and this is called Sugar QB, the Sugar Monster, and the Superhuman Power Foods for Humanity. Now, we haven't really been promoting this book yet because Amy needed to present this to Dr. Barry and his wife Nisha, and she was able to do that at the Low Carb for Better Health conference this past weekend. And this book is, this portion of the proceeds of this book is going towards his American Diabetes Society. And this is not an activity book, it's just a story book, but it is starring Dr. Barry's kids, Beckett and Bonnie and Granny Barry. It is a cute story. It's about Bonnie and Beckett, and they get visited by the Sugar QB, the sugar monster who gives them sugary treats. And they go to visit Granny Barry, and they are just grumpy and out of it. And she has to call on the superhuman power foods for humanity to come and teach them why they feel so bad and why sugar is not good for them. So it's a good story to help children see that sugar is bad for them. It makes you not feel good, and it's better to eat healthy food. So this is going to put the link to for this in the description so you can get a copy of this too. So super excited. And apparently Dr. Barry has a whole series of books he wants us to write. So we're pretty excited about that. And so plan on seeing more to come. Also this Thursday, early in the morning, 5 a.m. my time, is when I finally have my interview with Dr. Chafee. He's interviewing me. And so it's going to be recorded. It's not going to be live. So I don't know specifically when it's going to be on his channel, but hopefully I'm going to be alive and awake in order to do a good interview for this Thursday. So be thinking of me, and I will let you know as soon as I find out when it's going to actually be posted on his channel. So, and I'll make sure I'll let you know. Okay, so for this week's results, here we go. I actually did lose a little bit of weight, just a little bit, only 0.4, but again, I felt like I was going to gain like 5 pounds this week, so I am so not aware of what's going on with my body. Last week I'm like, yay, I think I am aware. Now, no. But anyways, at least I'm down. I'm not gaining weight, so that's good. My fat-free body weight stayed exactly the same. Muscle and bone stayed exactly the same, so nothing super exciting there. My visceral fat went back down to 17. It's been up, down, which is like I said last week, that never happens, but it's back to 17, so that's good. Upper limit of ideal for me for visceral fat is 11, so I still have 6 more pounds to go, and it takes a long time to get that visceral fat off. So that's good. You know, everything else is kind of pretty much stabilized. So my total fat loss for the week, because I had a 0 change in my fat-free body weight, my total fat loss is equal to my scale loss this week, so it's 0.4. I'll take it. My overall scale weight is down by 102.8 pounds as of this week, which is great. My fat-free body weight, good tissue, muscle, bone is up 26.8 pounds. So that means my total fat loss as of this week is 129.6 pounds. I'm not quite getting to the 130 yet, but I'm so happy because I remember it didn't seem like that long ago where I was like getting to 100. Like, yay, I'm finally going to be at 100. And now I'm like, yay, I'm almost 130 pounds down for fat. So I'm beyond thrilled. And so my muscle and bone, since the beginning, my muscle, I've gained 25.4 pounds of muscle and 1.6 pounds of bone, and only about 0.2 down on water. So anyways, great. I'm happy with the results. I am going to have to really do a lot of self-analysis this week and just kind of figure out, what do I need to tweak? I should probably tweak one thing at a time. Be sciencey about it. And so since I seem to be craving dairy, and I don't know if it's an energy thing, I think that sleep, I just need to buckle down and just make a decision that I am going to get to sleep, go to bed no later than 10. So I'm going to make that commitment. I'm going to go to bed no later than 10. And I'm going to do the Wim Hof breathing if I can't get right to sleep, because it does help. So anyways, that's it. I hope that everyone's having a wonderful week. I can't wait until I can have some really great results to share. But for now, this is okay. I'm all right with it. I'm going to work through my current struggles. Not constant, it just sure does seem constant, but I'm going to work through my current struggles. I will come out on the other end okay. I know you guys can relate. So thank you so much for all your support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.